One thing is one strategy that I always tell people, because we're talking about this topic, which is whether it is possible to improve English without depending on courses, without depending on courses. I wouldn't actually say without taking or doing, without depending on courses. So by depending on courses, we're actually looking at people who are already in the classroom, taking their English courses with a teacher there, and they think that, okay, that's all it takes for me to speak English pretty well.
I pay, and then you give me the fluency.
You come up with a magical wand, and I have to speak English. I don't care, no matter what. Come hell or high water, I have to speak English. That's the big problem. So the focus here is how, without depending on courses. It means this is for you. This is for that student who at this moment is in a classroom. Maybe they have classes on Saturdays or Sundays, or I don't know, or your students. For my students as well. So this is for actually everybody who is willing to improve their English.
Many people think that if you want to speak English, you need to pay for an English course. But the truth is, a course does not create fluency. Practice does. Hello everyone, welcome to Talk to Me, a place where vibrant conversations meet the pulse of life. My name is Lazaro Sebastian and I'm going to be your host for today. And today we are going to be talking about how you can practice English by yourself without paying for an English course. And for that, I have invited someone I've always wanted to have in the show. I'm talking about an English teacher and entrepreneur, also known as Mr. Bang. His name is Bengala Felipe, and he's going to be the guest for today's episode. Mr. Bang, hello, how are you? Welcome.
Hello, Lazaro. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Actually, it's Felipe Bengala, but
it's Felipe Bengala. It's not Bengala.
It's Bengala Felipe.
Okay.
But that's Felipe Bengala.
Felipe Bengala.
Yeah, and Bang is basically the short for
like Mr. Bang.
For Bengala. For Bang. Allah was removed, then we have
Bang.
Bang.
So just Mr. Bang.
Yeah, Mr. Bang. So Bang just came out of Bengala, just made it a little shorter, and he became Mr. Bang.
Mr. Bang. Okay, Mr. Bang, thank you so much for accepting the invitation and for being here with us today. And I'm sure that your experience and your presence here is going to be really important for my audience, these people that want to learn English by themselves, because some of them do not have time to practice, and some of them do not have time to go for an English course. So this episode is obviously going to be really important for them, and that's why I have you here. So I would like to start by asking you a very important question first. Did you pay for an English course when you started, or you learned by yourself?
Well, first I want to thank you again for the invitation. Okay. It's such a great honor. It's a profound honor to be here. And sure. When I got the invitation, I was like, let's say I was on the fence whether I would say yes or no, but then I ended up saying yes, and I'm here. So thank you so much. Yes, okay. Yeah. So thank you so much for the invitation. It's good to be here. Well, I really did.
You did an English?
Yes, I did. Okay, I went through an intensive training, a crazy training. So, and I did. I had paid to went for an English course. Very good. Thank God I did.
Thank God you did.
Thank God I did.
You had a wonderful English, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So, over the past few years, you have seen people succeeding and failing when learning English, and I'm really sure that you are the right person to be here with us talking about this matter. So I would like to ask you the question, do you think it's people can really make a significant impact when learning English by themselves or without paying for an English course?
Well, I would say, honestly speaking, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say yes, because what I believe is it doesn't really matter if you're in a formal classroom, how many days per week, you have your English classes, etc. I think that the point is not actually about whether you're taking a formal training or you're doing everything on your own. The point is about the techniques you use, the strategies you use to actually improve your English. I always tell people, when you step into a classroom, you're there sitting with your peer classmates, and then you have a teacher right in front of the class. So that's just the beginning, and that solves nothing at all. Of course, that's the point. You might feel inspired by seeing your peer classmates making some improvement and etc., trying hard, and then you have people maybe you can practice with in the classroom.
in the classroom.
So that's okay, that's good, but that's not where the real, let's say, growth happens. That's not where improvement comes. Improvement actually comes from, let's say, daily practice, intentional practice, by doing more than just going to a regular class or sitting, in a classroom and having a teacher right in front of you. It takes deliberate practice, intentional practice. It takes consistent steps that we are going to be talking about throughout the conversation.
The episode. Okay, so if that's so, I would like to ask you, so what is the importance of an English course if, like, the progress happens by yourself? Why should I go to an English course if I can just, for example, take some lessons on YouTube and then do it with my friends and then practice it? So what is the importance of an English course?
Yeah, you see, this is, this question is a bit tricky, and it's really tricky, but okay,
and just
let's
so you know,
talk
I'm an
about
English
that.
teacher, I teach English.
Sure, that's tricky.
Yeah.
But let's be honest and let's be clear about this. You see what happens, and it's when we talk about, for example, when we talk about behaviorist psychology, they claim that learning a language is compared to habit formation.
Yes.
And we know that when we want to form a habit, we have to do one thing, that same thing again and again and again consistently, until it becomes automatic. So the same thing happens with languages when we're learning a new language. So we need to look at the language and practice the language, as if we are forming a habit. But then there is a big problem here. We can actually form good habits, but we can also form
bad habits. Yeah.
You see? And that's where having a mentor
is
truly important.
Okay.
Today with the, technology has evolved so much, and people have access to a lot of things, to everything. And let's be honest, people have access even to bad content.
Yeah, to bad content.
People have access to bad things. People have access to bad, okay, let me not say bad materials. I don't like to be that radical, but let's say people have access to all kinds of things. And that's the problem. So people are actually practicing, using, consuming a lot of everything. And at the end of the day, they might be creating a bad habit, you see?
Yeah.
So when you have a teacher, when you have a mentor, and a mentor, you don't actually, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a teacher in the classroom. It could be maybe someone who has videos maybe on YouTube, and someone who is reliable, let's say. And then you focus on that person. You focus on that single person. It's important to have a role model, because when we go, here and there, we go up and down, consuming from everything, everywhere, or every source, all the sources. So it might be a little bit tricky and confusing, and might cause some trouble, to our learning experience, etc. So it is actually, teachers are still important. Mentors are important because they will help, they will guide you. They are experienced enough to tell you, what materials to use, what, for example, videos to watch, what podcasts you should, you could, for example, listen to or watch, etc. So they are the right people to guide you.
So the main takeaway from what you said is, of course, like, teachers are really important, especially because they have gone through what you are going through now.
Sure.
And they have the ability and the knowledge to tell you, okay, you don't need this because I tried this did not work, so you should do this instead. So you don't need to go through that and then find out that is not actually good and then do that again. So I think that's the importance of having a teacher. Right?
Yeah. I also go with the idea that, you see, abundance sometimes creates confusion. Scarcity creates consistency.
Yeah.
You know what happens sometimes when you have a lot, like a lot of books to read, a lot of videos to watch, a lot
Say
of
no more. I have a lot of
you
books.
see?
I don't read most of them
And,
because there is a lot. I mean, you're like, where to pick from?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's the difference. This is what I see. I sometimes wonder, okay, why is it that today people have access to it? Today people have, they have it all. People have it all today. They have, a lot of dictionaries. They have computers, they have
Lots of
the internet
apps and
itself, a lot of
stuff.
apps, etc.
Yeah.
A lot of them. But it's, and I see a lot of people trying very hard, struggling. They go to all the English meetings in Luanda, if not in Angola. Whenever there is an English club, they are there. There is an activity,
like a workshop,
they are there.
they're there.
There is whatever, a workshop, they are there. But when you see the way they speak English, when you hear their English, you're like, okay, what the hell is going on? So is cussing okay here, right? Cussing is okay here, right? Can I say what the hell? Because I said,
I don't know. It's not about that.
no, I said,
I don't know.
Sometimes I wonder, but what on earth?
Yeah.
What on earth is wrong with these people?
With these people?
So why is it that this guy goes to every single activity in town? They read a lot of books. They've got a lot of grammar books. They've got a lot of story books in English, etc. It's a lot of apps they have. But when you talk to them, it's like, what's going on?
What's going on?
What is happening?
You have all
if you
this
have it
knowledge,
all,
like,
yeah.
Right?
If you have it all. So, and I look back in time, for example, when I started, I didn't have any dictionary.
No
I remember,
AIs. You did not
no
have
AIs. Yeah,
no ChatGPT or anything. No, I'm sure you did not have ChatGPT.
Man, we're talking about 2011, 2011. So it's it's been quite a long time. And I see, and then I say, I didn't have. I mean, my first dictionary, that was when I was already finishing my training. That was Collins. I think I
think I know, like that. The blue one is like the blue one. No, I think that's not Collins.
That's a blue one.
That's a blue one.
That's a blue one.
Okay.
Maybe a blue one or green one. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was my first dictionary. But after 2 years, when I was already preparing for my for my final presentation and stuff like that. So that's when I had my first English dictionary, Collins, Portuguese. That was a bilingual dictionary.
Yeah.
And that really didn't help me that much because I was already
advanced, and you wanted something like English to English.
And I would, sure. So I didn't have those. I didn't have a computer. I remember I had a computer. The first time I had a computer was when I was finishing my English, my English course.
So that was like Magisterium Multiacvela?
No, I'm talking about
the English course.
The English course, yeah. So that's when I had my
yeah.
first computer. That was maybe maybe 3 months before finishing my English training. So that's when I had my first computer. I didn't have access to YouTube back then. I didn't have access to I didn't have a smartphone. I didn't have all these apps. Today you have Duolingo. You have a lot of apps. But
by the way, have you tried it, like Duolingo once? Have you ever tried it?
I've never tried.
But we have a lot.
We have a lot of apps, and sometimes you go like, okay, you start here, and then there is a more appealing app.
You go there,
and there's a more interesting one. So you're always running, always running from app to app, but never creating something really consistent. And this is the problem with abundance. And this is what happens to a lot of learners today, to a lot of English learners, etc. So they jump from method to method, from app to app, from book to book, and at the end of the day, they don't, they haven't actually created anything consistent. They haven't been consistent in any of these things. They go from one meeting to another, one activity to another, just running as if they don't know what they're actually doing after, what they're doing. And at the end of the day, a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice, but zero results.
And the reason why this person is watching this episode is because, okay, he or she is done of all these things, and wants to learn the realistic strategy they can apply to their lives in order for them to learn English the proper way. So that's the reason why you're here today, not only to mention all the things that happen to these people, but how they can overcome this and probably learn English this year or next year. It depends on their time or possibility. So my question is, what are some of the strategies they can apply in order for them to learn English? Like I would say, learn English by themselves, not totally, because you are always going to depend on something, probably a teacher, a mentor, as you said. But how can they practice English by themselves? What are the strategies? What are the methods they can apply?
Yeah. You know, I'm not a sort of, let's say, one size, fits all.
Fits all, one size fits all.
Person. I don't really go with that, you see, because I always believe that, we are different people.
What works for me may not work for you.
Sure. One thing I always tell people is, please know yourself. It's important to know your learning styles. And when we talk about it, that's why, like a teacher, for example, when he steps into the classroom, he has a lot of students, because a class is always it's heterogeneous. It's basically never homogeneous. It's really hard to have a homogeneous class where everybody is. They might be all doing beginner, but there is always
like
someone who is. Sure. And it is important to know your learning style. Okay. Do I learn best when, for example,
watching like native English speakers or series?
Do I read best when reading, maybe, or when I am, involved in a sort of like activities where I have to move, where I have to touch, where I have to
like
actually,
kind of aesthetic.
Sure. You see, so it is important. That's the first question. How do I learn best? That's the first thing, because if you don't even know how you learn best, so you will try. That's what I'm saying. People are running from one method to another. They're running from one teacher to another because they don't really know how they learn first, what works for them. So they're just wandering around. They go here and there. They do this. They try this. They start here. They stop. They start that one. They stop. They go there. They stop, and they never ever actually get what they want. You see, they never accomplish their goals because maybe they don't even know what they're trying to accomplish.
So first tip is know your learning style.
Sure. Yeah. It is important to know what type of learner you are. Okay, what type of learner I am. For example, in my case, I learn best when, for example, I can see things, when I can touch. That's right. I'm not a good reader. To be honest.
Really?
I'm not a good reader. I'm not a good reader because I don't really learn, I don't feel I learn well when I'm there, going from one page to another, reading. No, I don't learn. But when I'm here, I'm sitting, and there is a person there teaching me, I can see the person. When there is a video right there, I learn a lot from visual content and stuff like that. So first, you have to know yourself. You have to know your learning style. So I'm going to talk about, like out of my own experience, you see,
of course,
what worked for me. And I know there are a lot of people watching us that,
maybe your way.
For real. This may help. But there are things here that are I would say universal, that everybody who speaks English today, who can speak English fluently, has been through, and they've been through this. I'm pretty sure. I know that some of you will relate to what I'm saying right now. One thing is, one strategy that I always tell people, because we're talking about this topic, which is whether it is possible to improve English without depending on courses, without depending on courses. I wouldn't actually say without taking or doing, without depending on courses. So by depending on courses, we're actually looking at people who are already in the classroom, taking their English courses with a teacher there, and they think that, okay, that's all it takes for me to speak English pretty well.
I pay, and then
you come up with a magical wand, and I have to speak English. I don't care, no matter what, come hell or high water, I have to speak English. So this is what a lot of people have in mind when they go there. Okay, I'm paying for my training, and I know there is a magician out there who's gonna, just I don't know, move their wand and everything will happen. That's the big problem.
That's
so
the way.
The focus here is how, without depending on courses. It means this is for you. This is for that student who at this moment is in a classroom. Maybe they have classes on Saturdays or Sundays, or I don't know, or your students. For my students as well. So this is for actually everybody who is
for everybody
willing to improve their English. And there is one thing, there is this strategy, this thing that really worked, that helped me a lot, and I'm gonna share it with you. This is about turning English into a daily environment. Turning English into a daily environment. Okay, so today you guys have smartphones, you have computers, social media,
AI is included,
everything. So by turning English into a daily environment, what I mean is, okay, you can use your phone in English, your computer is in English. You can start, for example, watching things in English,
like
watching movies in English. Listening to music in English and stuff like that. This is turning English into a daily environment. At home, like I'm gonna talk about myself. I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have all those all these resources, these tools and everything. So what did I do is, I had my house, I had my room. So my room was turned into an English environment. I would have, for example, write-ups, whatever, all over my room in English. So whenever I would step into my room, that was okay. I have English here. I had English there. I had English, on my left side, on my right side. So my room was turned into an English environment.
But that's also one thing. You lived alone, right?
No,
was only you?
No, that was not only me.
But how can someone, for example, turn their environment into, let's say, an English environment, or an English-speaking environment is the other way we say. If when they get home, people speak to them in Portuguese. If Andrew vai tirar o café, all these things, like there is no English, there is no such a thing as please, I want you to take your coffee. There's like vai tirar o teu café. How can someone like make that an English-speaking environment if they only listen to English when they get home? Because that's something. I might be speaking in English with you now, but when I get home, I see my sibling. I can't speak to my siblings like in English because they want to understand. Don't you think this is some sort of setbacks for someone who wants to make who wants to have an English-speaking environment?
All right, we know the reality here. We know that basically, like, at home, for example, I was the only person learning English back then.
Yeah.
My mom, my siblings, my cousins, everybody there. Nobody could speak English back then, and nobody was learning English. So I was basically alone. I was on my own. And when I would get home, of course, I had to speak Portuguese, right? I was Portuguese here and Portuguese there. But when I say we have to turn English into a daily environment, I don't mean like you have to go to your mom. Hello, mom. Good morning, mom.
Yeah.
No. What I mean is, okay, it's your world. It's your mind.
The inputs, right? Like the inputs?
Sure. It's your world, it's your mind. It's, for example, like when I would go out there, whenever there is something in English, I would go and read, oh, that's English. Even there was paper on the floor, on the ground, I would like, oh, that's English. I would take it and read.
Yeah, and
so
read
I'm
it.
saying, it's about going crazy. It's about seeing English in everything, everywhere. Like you go out, there can't be any newspaper in English, and you would just take it and read what's in that. You would, for example, walk around the streets, and things are in Portuguese, but it's like you've turned English into a daily environment. Everything seems to be in English. You think in English. You decide to see things in English even when they are written in Portuguese. For example, it's written in Portuguese. I would like, okay, it's Portuguese, but I think I try to change everything into English. I know it's Portuguese, but I don't want to read that in Portuguese. I don't want to
your mind
believe
sees that as like
that's English.
Yeah,
that's what it means to turn English into a daily environment. You have to do that. Like I didn't have phones. I didn't have a smartphone back then. I didn't have a computer. I didn't have access to internet and stuff like that. So I couldn't do that. Virtually like social media, etc. Yeah. But I did that like in my daily life. Like I would see everything everything was in English for me. Even if things were written in Portuguese, I saw that in English. I decided to believe that was English, and that truly helped me. That truly helped me. My room, in my bedroom, for example, I would have write-ups in English. I would, for example, instead of when I wake up, instead of saying, okay, I would, for example, think about everything. I would say everything I was doing in English. Like, okay, now I'm going to brush my teeth. Now, okay, now
some sort of
I'm going
like journal or something, right?
Yeah. That was a journal. Usually, a journal is you write it, it's written, etc. But you would do like when you wake up, you say you announce whatever you're gonna do in English. You announce, okay, now I'm going to have my breakfast. You go there, you have your breakfast, and
I'm
they start
having my
naming.
like
I'm
on
having
your
my
head, I'm having my
Yeah,
breakfast now, I'm
sure,
brushing my teeth.
Sure.
on your
You
head.
know, you have to go beyond the limit. You can't be a normal person if you want to be fluent in English.
I
You
think
can't be.
everyone who
Uh-huh.
decides to learn English is never a normal person. Someone who
Yeah.
speaks English is never a
Yeah,
normal person.
sure. Because listeners find it, and this is point number 2, which is about talking to yourself.
Okay.
Practice alone. You know, as I said, I would look all around me, and I wouldn't find any, any person that I would practice English with, like a friend at home, or a neighbor, or a sibling, or even my mom. So there was nobody I would say, okay, I can practice English, with this person or that person. I didn't have anybody. So I had to try out, new things. I had to okay, what can I do to improve English? What if I talk to myself? And I would actually go in front of the mirror. We didn't have a mirror at home, okay, but I would just, that's a fake mirror. That's a fake mirror. So I would just stand there.
Looking at the wall and then practicing.
Sure. I would have a sort of monologue. I would say, as if I'm talking to a real person, but I'm talking to myself. I would okay, hello, how are you? Hi, I'm doing good.
Yeah.
You really have to go out of your mind if you want to speak English pretty well. And people today don't understand this. They think it's all about using different books and different methods. No, it's about being consistent in 1, 2, 3 things. And then you go, you try your best, you try hard, you do whatever it takes, but focus on one thing. It is important to focus on one thing. Focus on one teacher. After I finished my English course, and when I had my first computer, 2 months before I completed my training, I got my computer. That's when I started having access to YouTube, etc. I had Rachel. I don't know, Rachel is an English teacher. He's a pronunciation coach. American pronunciation coach, and etc. So I had Rachel as my mentor. I would watch every single video of her. Every single video of her. I would be there, and that's Rachel. And that's the person that I would like to sound like her, although I didn't sound like her, but I would like to go. I would like to drink from a fountain. I would like to get a laugh from her. So I would focus on her. I would go for her. I would watch her videos. I would listen to her advice. I would do whatever she tells me to do, and I would do that because I had one person to look at, a role model. Today, people are running from people to people, from place to place. They go here, they start this, they don't even finish. They go to that thing, they don't finish it, they go there. They're always going up and down, just moving and running. They don't even know where they're going. So that's the point, that's the problem, that's the situation we have here. That's why people have been there, they've been studying English for years and years and years, but they can't speak English because there's no consistency. Mm-hmm. There's no consistency. They think it's it's about the number of
vocabularies.
Vocabulary, the number of words, the number of people you consume from, the number of videos you watch, and the number of books you read, etc. Yeah, it's important to read books. It's important to watch. Variety is important. I'm always for variety. Yeah. But please, it's more important. Mainly when you start you have to be consistent. You have to focus on one thing, things, and go extra miles. Try hard with that. Do that again and again and again, as if you're creating a habit. Only when you feel you have taken enough from that. You have taken enough from that, so you can go to the next method, maybe to the next video or to the next strategy, etc. So. And there is one more thing, which is, I think you guys know a lot. People talk a lot about this, which is shadowing technique. Shadowing. Yeah. And I would shadow Rachel. I would look at her. I would, for example, she says something, I would pause and I would repeat that. It sounds robotic at first. That's okay. Okay. You're gonna sound robotic. You're gonna sound ridiculous.
And how can you not sound
weird.
robotic if you are mimicking someone else, not you?
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, no problem at all. All right? Because, and I've mentioned this, I think I might have mentioned this, I've mentioned this earlier. It's like learning a language is compared to habit formation. And you form a habit by doing something repeatedly, until it becomes automatic. And by automatic, I mean like until you start speaking and it just happens. It just happens. You hear, you're speaking, words come out of your mouth, and you don't need to be like, okay, that's automatic, you know?
Yeah.
But it's something that takes practice. You will sound robotic. It's okay. Like a robot, it would sound like ChatGPT. It's okay, you know? It's okay to first you need to when shadowing, you know, you need to pay attention to the way the person speaks, the intonation, the rhythm, the pronunciation, everything you need to pay attention and try to do exactly the same way.
The same way.
You know, you're gonna be a little bit of that person until you become your own. You know, you have your own
identity,
linguistic identity or stuff like that. So it's basically what usually happens.
So,
shadowing is also a very good.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have any more tips left, or because of the time we're running?
I don't think I do. I think I've said enough. So if I haven't, then you know,
it was really amazing. Amazing listening to you. You had very good tips, and I'm really sure this is going to be really important for my audience. And if they implement it, they're obviously going to like go further with their English and really develop the English and have the English they always wanted to have. Yeah. Because many people want to have the English, but they forget consistency.
Yes.
You see, like they pay for an English course and then they think the fluency is going to come with the money they give, which is not actually the thing. You have to pay, but you also need to be consistent and work for your English.
Sure.
It's not basically what happens in the classroom, but what you do when you live it.
For real. Yeah. For real.
Yeah, okay. So thank you so much, Mr. Beng, for being here with me.
Thank you for the invitation.
It was amazing. Yeah. And thank you so much, Mr. Beng, for being here with us. And I'm really sure that this episode is going to be important for my audience because I know that they want to get to the English they have envisaged. And thank you for watching this episode. And if you find it to be interesting, start today, not tomorrow. Start today, not when you pay for an English course. And I hope you share this video with your friend, and I hope to see you in the next one. So bye, and I'll see you.